I'm Benjamin Hall, and I'm searching for heroes. Well, hi everyone, and thank you again for joining me today. I don't know about you, but look, it feels crazy to me that June is already almost over. And with July just around the corner, many Americans are now gearing up to celebrate Independence Day. But for some Americans, the day holds a much deeper meaning. For retired Army Staff Sergeant Monte Bernardo, July the 4th marks the day in 2012 when he was blown 25 feet into the air by an IED while leading his team in combat. The blast cost him both legs and his left arm. He was quickly put into a coma at a hospital in Kandahar. His recovery was long, but thanks to his family and the Semper Fi and America's Fund, Monty didn't just survive, he found a new sense of purpose. Just last year, he was honored with a surprise Purple Heart ceremony, a powerful reminder of his bravery and sacrifice. Today, Monty joins me to talk about that life-changing moment, his journey forward, and why the 4th of July is now not just Independence Day, but his Alive Day. Here he is.
It was 4th of July 2012, and we were in a firefight for a few hours. An RPG backblast by the Afghan National Army knocked out two of our guys from first squad at a different position, and they had to get those two guys back to the post for medical attention. I was the alpha team leader with second squad, and I moved my squad up to take first squad's positions. First squad was the one that had the guys that got hit. We were taking fire from both sides, so I walked over to my guy with the 249 saw, and I told him to light up the building on the right. And then I walked about 15 yards back to my guy with a grenade launcher and told him to lob grenades in the building on the left. At this point, I picked a position between them so that I could continue to direct their fire and went to sit down. I thought I heard a noise. I remember thinking, what was that? And then I blazed into the ground on my right shoulder 25 feet away and realized I'd just blown up. I was laying backwards on a hill, so I couldn't see past my equipment. But when I tried to stand up, I couldn't. My buddy came running up. I could see on his face it wasn't good. And I asked him if my legs were gone. He looked back and forth from my legs to my face and got a clear look. And all of a sudden he said, yes, your legs are gone. He started putting on tourniquets. Then my other buddy came running up, and I grabbed him by the front of his body armor, pulling him down and asked him if my privates were still intact. He cut off what was left of my left pant leg and then said, yes, you're still good. I sighed relief, looked at my left hand, saw half of it was gone, said to myself, how the hell am I going to play video games? Then I ate a fentanyl lollipop and giggled until I got to Kandahar hospital 45 minutes later. Then it hurt really bad all of a sudden. I told the doctor to put me to sleep. Then it was like someone turned off the TV and turned it back on in D.C. I woke up with Walter Reed.
Well, I suppose, having gone through something like that, could you tell us sort of what went through your mind in those very early days? Like there you were lying in hospital, you were in pain, you were sort of facing this completely new reality. Did you already have an idea, okay, I'm going to recover, let's work at it? Or was there a moment where you weren't sure what was going to come next?
Honestly, I didn't. I really was I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. How am I going to support my family? How am I going to support myself? Like I'm missing 3 limbs. And I think it was, I don't think it was the first day I was awake. I think it might've been the second or third day I was awake. But I know you guys all know of him, Travis Mills. He was actually in my unit. And so when I came out of my coma, he showed up in my room and he had lost all 4 limbs, both arms, both legs. And he walked into my room with both arms on. And I said, I still got 1 hand. I'm not even fully committed. I'm good to go. And after that, it was like hard charging. We're going. So it was just those first couple of days. Now, honestly, Travis Mills coming in my room, that was I don't even have it that bad moment,
Yeah, that's funny because I lost my leg in Ukraine and I was treated in San Antonio at the CFI. And the same thing for me that first day when I went in there and I looked at all the other guys going through it and I was like, I still got a limb, a few limbs, and B, they're doing it. I'm going to do it too. There's that community spirit that you get from watching other people. And I think it's essential to getting through anything.
Yeah, it was huge support having those guys that were blown up there. We were all a big group of broken people.
Yeah. And of course, it was the 4th of July when you were blown up. And of course, Independence Day, it holds so much meaning for Americans. But for you, it must be mixed emotions.
Every year, I have a huge party and light off all the fireworks I can. and laugh at all the posts of people saying, "Oh, I'm afraid of fireworks." Look, so I stepped on a big firework and I'm good to go. So
Do you think of it as your lucky day? You know, we call it the alive day. Like
yes,
that's the
sir.
day that your life was
I
saved. It wasn't the
celebrate
day
that day more than I celebrate my birthday. My wife reminds
wow.
me about my birthday. I think about 4th of July every day.
Oh, nice. That's incredible. Talk to me a little bit about Eric Johnson, you know, because we've heard a lot about him. He's your occupational therapist, and he never let you make any excuses. Talk to us about that relationship and sort of how that.
He had high expectations of me, which he had some experience, or he was stationed with some of the 82nd guys. So me being from the 82nd, it's kind of a talking point. So he started off with that, and there's a lot of things that like I thought were pointless, but he was just like, this is the procedure. Like I know that you're never going to do this, but I need to know that you can because it's part of the procedure. He was always hard charging and pushing me to do basically anything. He's the one that solidified in my mind. There's nothing that you can't do that I can, or there's nothing that you can do that I can't. I just need to figure out a different way.
And he also helped you sort of get back to gaming as well, which was a big part of your life beforehand.
Yes, he did.
You helped inspire the Xbox Adaptive Controller, which has actually changed the lives of many, many veterans. Talk to us
I don't know that I had much of an influence.
Talk to us a little bit about what the system is and how you sort of developed it, how they developed it.
Yes. I'm going to be honest. I haven't really used it much. I did a lot of the helping with them developing the adaptive controller. I actually use a modified controller because it works better for me. But
so how is yours? How is yours modified? So obviously you've just got the one hand. How are you controlling
mine? So what I do is I have 4 triggers on this side, and I just use my stump for the left stick. I tried setting up the Xbox adaptive controller, but everything was just too far apart for what I have. It just seemed to work out better with the four triggers on one side. So now
you still playing a lot?
Yep, I was playing last night.
There you go. When we look back at your recovery, at the time, did you ever sort of wrestle with the questions at the time? Why me? What has happened to me? And was there a moment where you didn't have identity for a while and you had to figure out how to rebuild the new you?
No, I accepted when I went over there. Like when we got the briefing for the deployment, the unit we were replacing took it was like 20% casualties. So I knew going over there, I planned on not coming back with legs. Expect the worst, hope for the best, and take whatever happens. So I expected to go over there, and I was leading it. Like every patrol that second squad went on, I was in the front with the minesweeper. So I expected to step on a bomb. It just, I don't know, it was just part of life. You just get used to it. There was never oh, why did this happen to me? I know why it happened to me. I raised my right hand and said I was going to do the best I could for my men and for the freedom of America. That's why.
Is that perhaps the best way of handling, if you're going into a situation like that and a place like that, is that the best way of thinking about it? And were other soldiers in there just saying the opposite, and how hard that must be for them to be so afraid of it every day? So,
I'm going to be honest. I don't really know how other people dealt with it. That's just what I told myself in my head. I know there were some people that were scared. I heard that they were real freaked out after I stepped on the bomb. Because we were in a cleared area. We cleared it with minesweepers. It was just a new specific type of ordinance that the Taliban was using, and we protected at that point with what we had. That's how I pretty much dealt with anything in my whole life. I hope for the best. I expect the worst. Anything that happens is good to go, man.
More of our conversation right after this. Where does that come from? I'm really curious about that. Is that from your parents? Is that from your upbringing? How do you, and let's say we've got kids, how do you instill that in the next generation? Because that's something that society should have, right? That bravery. And I worry sometimes that actually you're seeing kids are pretty weak nowadays. They don't want to stand up sometimes and do the hard work. Where did yours come from? And then how can you pass it on to others?
I do my best to instill it in my kids, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job. I could hope that I am. I really don't know. I grew up on a dairy farm. I would get up at 2:00 in the morning, milk cows till 6 a.m. Then I'd get on the school bus and go to school all day. Then I'd get off the school bus and go back and milk cows till 7 p.m. That was my life. I just grew up with hard work ethic. I had a very abusive stepdad. I really couldn't tell you. I've had a very long and strange life, sir.
That's interesting. I mean, having a stepdad like that, that again, though, would have broken some kids, and yet it sounds as if it made you stronger, in a sense.
I could agree with that.
Huh. You know, people talk a lot sort of about PTSD in general, but you know, when I speak to you, and it's the opposite. It sort of seems to be this post-traumatic growth.
Yeah.
It's as if you've been able to grow out of this, and I just wonder, you know, if that's true. I mean, do you think you are stronger because of
I definitely feel I'm stronger than I was. I mean,
so
any doubts that I had in life before I stepped on that bomb, like I literally know there's nothing that I can't do. I just have to put my mind to it, put my effort into it.
But is that constant? Do you feel that all the time, or is there, you know, moments, days, weeks where you feel that, and then moments where perhaps you lose that direction, you have to come back to it? Like, isn't it's very hard for anyone to be totally at that level. Like, I feel that too, you know, like most of the time is absolutely great, but then there are these moments where you sort of, it's just hard to keep that non-stop.
So when I find myself getting like down or I don't know, overwhelmed with life or whatever, and maybe this is the wrong answer, I basically I go to the gym and I try to hurt myself. If I'm lifting 200 pounds, I'll make it 220, and I'll just push it through, and I'll burn the amount of calories that I do in 3 hours in an hour. But I'm exhausted, and my brain's exhausted, and like I said, maybe that's not the right answer, you know, trying to hurt myself at the gym, but
No, but I think that is true in so many ways for me as well. I think, and for many people, it is instead of sitting there and just feeling sort of sad and reflective, just get up, go and do something, be active, and like your sense is lifting weights.
In here is where it's dangerous. You sit in your head for a week, a lot of bad things come out of your brain.
Yeah.
There's no reason to think about all that. Think about the positives. Think about what you can do tomorrow. Think about what your kid's doing. Go to the gym. Plan dinner.
Yeah. A lot of veterans don't. They struggle to feel that way the whole time, and you know it's terrible to see the number of suicides. And you know what can be done when you talk to people who are having a tough time? Like, what is your message to try and pull them out of the tough moments?
I tried to help a few guys when I was at Walter Reed, and I don't know the right answer for them. I didn't have great results, honestly. Like some of the guys just didn't want to wear prosthetics, and it hurts, or you know, it's just too much effort. And like I don't know what that is. I don't understand that. What is too much effort? Too much effort when I can't physically move. When I'm dead, that's too much effort. So like, what? It hurts. Life hurts, man. I live on a 6 out of 10 pain scale. Like, move on, get used to it. And that's not the right approach for a lot of people that are in a state that they're where they want to off themselves, or they don't know what they're going to do with their life. I can't relate. I don't understand. Do you think that makes sense, sir?
No, absolutely. And it's I wonder if they had that sort of mind frame before they were injured, and if that's something that continues, or whether they developed that afterwards. So was that just, and is that sort of lack of resilience, is that something that you just have your whole life? Do some people just have resilience and some people just don't have resilience? Are you born with it, or can you develop it?
I don't know that I've ever not had it. So I guess maybe I was born with it. I don't know. I've tried to understand the other side of it. And it's like, to me, you're telling me you don't want to try. Oh, it hurts. Oh, it's too much effort. You don't want to try. And I know that's not right. That's not the right answer, because people, you know, everybody's different in their own head. But I personally just can't understand it, because it's not even an option.
Yeah.
It's like, the suicide thing. People do it all the time. I don't understand it. When I was really, really high on drugs in Walter Reed, my very first day when I came out of my coma, I think something like that crossed my mind. One time in my whole life. I'm not trying to say that I'm like better than anybody or anything. I just don't understand it. I don't understand not trying. I don't understand sitting in your chair and letting yourself rot. I don't understand killing yourself. There is more life out there. You just have to reach out there and grab it, sir.
Yeah. Do you think, you know, like there's this big movement that's happened over the last generation or so where everyone wants to really sit down and talk about their problems, and let's talk and go to, you know, shrinks and this and that. Do you think it doesn't sound like that's the way you would ever do anything. You just get through it. Do you think it's strange that more and more people seem to just have a psychiatrist to go to, or does that work for some people, but it doesn't work for others?
I mean, no, that's another option is maybe it works for some people and doesn't work for others. I've personally never been to one except for in the military when they were clearing me out of the Army. I mean, they said, "Hey, you're good to go, man." All right, cool. Moved on. So I do think it's weird that more and more people are doing therapy and psychiatrists and having all the mental things. Like when I have an issue, I don't think about all the underlying things that could possibly be. And then here's the problem. Here's the facts about it. And here's the options of what we can do to fix it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Totally. So look, what's next for you then? I mean, you're not stopping. You want to keep moving, keep doing things. Do you have anything in mind? I've been working for the last 2 years. I was managing a gun store down here in Texas. And I just quit that job because I'm going to be going back to school. When COVID hit, I was actually in the first line of engineering courses. I had done all my prerequisites and everything, and I had just started my engineering courses when COVID hit. And I had a choice. I could either half-ass college and half-ass my kids' education, or drop my college courses and homeschool my kids for COVID. So I dropped my college courses and homeschooled my 2 boys for a couple of years. And well, it's been 5 years now since COVID hit, I guess. So it's time. It's time to go back. So finish that up. That's always been a goal of mine. Well, I bet you're going to do it as well. No doubt about it. So let's, I suppose just to finish up, talk to me again a little bit about the 4th of July. What does independence really mean to you? Both as a soldier, but I suppose also as an amputee. What does this day mean? So many people will be listening, and they'll be celebrating 4th of July, but many of them won't have experienced the things that you've experienced. So what does it mean to you, and what would you like other people to really think about when they celebrate 4th of July?
I don't know. It's really hard because I honestly don't necessarily even think about 4th of July as the 4th of July any longer. That's the day I didn't die. Mm. I mean, in regards to just in general, I mean, appreciate the lives that have been given, appreciate the freedoms that we have. The people in this country don't know what people in other countries in the world have, but it's a hell of a lot less than we do. Have your fun, have your barbecues and your good times and your trips, but think about everybody that made this possible.
Well, and what a perfect way to end it. Hey, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And I honestly, I've got to say, I speak to so many people for this podcast who have gone through difficult moments. And sometimes I'm always thinking, isn't the simplest method just to get up and keep living? Don't ask too many questions about it. Just go up and keep living. Don't get bogged down in things. But I guess for some people, that seems an impossibility. Some people aren't able to do it the way you're able to do it, and I'm lucky the way I'm able to do it.
Mm-hmm. I wish I could understand it more and I could help them. I really do.
Well, if anyone's listening, going through anything tough, get up, go to the gym, add 20% on to your highest weight, see if you can lift it.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Monty, thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
You too. Take care. Thanks for listening to Searching for Heroes. Listen ad-free with a Fox News Podcasts Plus subscription on Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Prime members can listen to this show ad-free on the Amazon Music app.